Hey, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency. It's your boy Kenny. I'll be your host for today, coming at you solo dolo for another installment in our recap series. We've been covering this series since episode 1. We have been loving it around these parts, and I'm talking about The Last of Us, episode 6, y'all. Episode 6. We finally get the big meeting of Joel and Tommy. The one thing that all the hardcore video game fans and all the fans in general have been waiting for. It finally goes down in this episode. And before we go any further, make sure you're clicking the likes, the subscribes, all the buttons below the video. It always helps the show out immensely. And we appreciate each and every one of you that have already done so. The subscriber count and everything is growing every day. The community is starting up, and we want to continue nurturing that. We want to continue growing that, and we want to make sure that all you geeks out there want to join and, just vibe out with us. So that's pretty much it for that. Let's get right into my overall thoughts of the episode. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. This was another great episode of this season. Overall, the one thing I loved the most was the dynamic between Joel and Tommy. And I really loved how they had that conflict that we've known has been kind of boiling up ever since he lost contact with him over the radio. And then when he finds out why, because of the rules of the commune, or the communist community, if you will, as they allude to later on as we recap the episode. But it was really funny. Well, not funny, but it was really interesting to see the dichotomy between the two and to see that tension and that conflict that had risen between the two over the years. And it's kind of heartbreaking how, they don't really necessarily get along, when they're all that each other really have as far as like a real familial bloodline kind of, connection to somebody. So that was a little bit sad, of course. But Tommy's found a new lease on life in this new community. And I really loved the way that they brought this community straight to life out of the video game here in Jackson. It was freaking amazing. I love the way they pulled all that off. And they kept this one, I hear, really, really close to the episode. I mean, they keep the episode really close to this chapter in this portion of the game. But for those that don't know, you won't get in the way, or it doesn't seem like fan service, because they're just telling the story for the story's sake. So you can't really tell that they're throwing in a bunch of references or anything like that. So that's the beauty of this series, is that they don't put that before the storytelling. The storytelling always comes first, and that's the number one thing I love about this series and this episode in general. It continues that trend, and I love the whole entire relationship and the way that it evolves and the conflict that arises between Joel and Ellie in this episode, when he's about to essentially ditch her and leave her there at Jackson in that community and go back to where he came from, because he feels like if he tries to get her to the Fireflies, he's going to end up getting her killed. You know what I'm saying? He just feels like everyone around him that he tries to help or tries to care about or tries to try to be there for in that kind of way, he feels like once he opens up and accepts somebody, they end up getting taken away from him, because he's lost both his daughter Sarah and Tess. So that's the crazy part, is that and you can understand where his perspective comes from, and all the internal conflict that was going on with Joel in this episode was also very top notch. Pedro Pascal just killing it once again. Bella Ramsey killing it as Ellie, and the introduction of this character, Maria, played by Rutina. What was her name? Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get her name right here. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Got to hit the good old Google. I think it's Rutina Wesley. Yeah, Rutina Wesley as Maria, Tom's wife. I thought she did a phenomenal job as well, coming in for this quick episode right here and just having a supporting role. But I really love all the screen presence and charisma that she brought to the screen, and I thought she did a great job, especially in that scene with Ellie later on when they're talking about Joel's child and her child that she lost years ago and everything like that, and where she comes from and everything. So really dug all that. This episode was just fucking awesome. But now it is time for us to get into the recap portion of the episode. We get through all the big plot points, if you will. go from step by step. And we start off the episode with Joel and Ellie continuing their journey into or over to Wyoming to meet up with Tommy, and they're a lot closer than they were before, but they haven't quite got there yet. And they're camping out still, you know what I'm saying? They're still trying to make their way over there. And as they're making their way there, Joel and Ellie really start getting to know each other and really start kind of opening up, you know what I mean? And Joel kind of starts to lower his guard a little bit, and they talk about different stuff like how she's never seen monkeys before, or that's actually later, but they talk about different subjects and things like that, and how she's never seen a dam, and she makes the whole dam joke and stuff like that, and them talking about, getting riding on the horse and everything, and how she'd never done that before, obviously, and it was just really cool getting to see Ellie and Joel really connect with each other and really get to know each other, and to see Joel start to open up a little bit and allow himself to do that, and to see that side of Joel as a character was really fun to see. And I just thoroughly enjoyed that portion of the episode. But as they get closer to the actual destination in Wyoming, they get stopped by these bandits, that what it looks like. And those are the people that stay at the commune, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you? This dog's gonna sniff you, and if he smells anything off, or if you're infected, we gonna shoot you right here on the spot." And they're like, "We're not infected, dude. Calm down." And then they don't want to listen to Joel though at all. And Ellie's like, "Oh shit, bro, I'm gonna have to shoot these fools right now," because he's like, "All right, get your guns out." You know what I'm saying? Like, something's gonna go down, and once it goes down, Ellie's ready to go, but there's too many people and they're outnumbered, so they don't end up making a move in that way. But they end up getting once the dog sniffs Joel, he's gonna go over to sniff Ellie, and Joel is very worried, and the dog ends up liking Ellie and doesn't smell anything, because obviously she's immune, even though she's been bit twice, so he doesn't really smell anything on her. So everything goes well from there, and they end up taking them, or Maria actually comes forward, and she's like, "Who are you?" And he's all, "I'm Joel," and she's like, "Oh shit," because she knows that name, because obviously her man is his brother, so she's heard plenty of stories about Joel, obviously. I might even heard him trying to contact him on the radio at some point or something like that. Who knows? But she's very well aware of who he is, and she's like, "Oh shit, okay, it's my brother-in-law, so we'll take you back to the commune or whatever." And then they end up leading them over there, and when they get in there, Ellie's like, "Damn, this place is crazy, yo. I never seen nothing like this, or haven't seen nothing quite like this, in a long time, or if ever." So it's pretty interesting to see just the way they were able to bring that community to life from the game. And I've seen images and stuff of this portion of the game before, so I was aware of this part of the game a little bit. Just didn't know it pertained to Tommy until we got here at this part in episode 6, and with the preview at the end of last episode, I was like, "Oh shit, okay, I see where we're at in the game at this point." And I haven't even got that far in the game yet, by the way, and I'm actually playing as I'm watching the show, so sometimes I'll get further ahead than the show and I'll stop, and then sometimes the show will be further ahead than me, and that's where we're at right now. But we'll see if I catch up before the end of the series. We'll see. But either way, I'm gonna definitely beat part 1 and get to part 2 before we get to season 2. I guarantee y'all. But yeah, anyway. So getting back into the episode, they get to the commune and everything like that, and they end up just settling in and getting to know each other and finding out what the situation is and all that. And as they're doing so, Joel and Ellie, Ellie starts being a little bit confrontational, as she tends to do, and things carry on from there. And from that point, Joel and not Joel, sorry, Tommy and Maria actually offer them a place right across the way from them. And Joel and Ellie are like, "All right, cool, yeah, we'll take a shower, do whatever." And then Joel goes off with Tommy to kick it with him and go catch up with him for a minute and, see what's going on there. And then Maria takes Ellie over to the place right next to theirs, or right across from theirs, so she can shower and get changed and everything like that. And as they do so, we end up getting that big old confrontation with Joel and Tommy, man. And it's intense, because Joel's like, "Hey, man, like, are you trying to guilt trip me and all that shit, for what we had to do back in the day?" And Tommy's like, "Nah, man, like, I don't judge you for what we had to do, I think we could have went a different route. I think we could have went a different way. I think we could have did something a little bit differently here. But at the same time, I don't think that, we had to do it that way. But at the end of the day, I've moved on. I've moved past it. Everything's all good. So we won't have to worry about it." And, they're having some drinks or having some whiskey or whatever, but it stays intense, because Joel just feels like, like, you're trying to move past me, and, I don't want to really have this responsibility of taking care of Ellie, and he's like, oh shit, really? He's like, yeah, like, I think I want to leave her here with you guys, like, I think anyone that comes along with me is just in danger and is going to get hurt sooner rather than later, and I just can't bear losing anybody else, so let me leave her here with you. And as Joel and Tommy are having that conversation, Maria and Ellie are having the conversation about the mural she has on the wall after Ellie gets out of the shower and she sees all the kids and everything. And there's a picture of Maria's kid, and there's also a picture of Sarah, who's Joel's daughter, but she hasn't been told about who Sarah is yet exactly. And that's where she finds out, because she's like, I'm sorry about your kids. And she's like, oh, that's not that was my son, and that was Joel's daughter. And then Ellie's like, oh shit, really? And then she starts to kind of understand where he comes from, like where he's coming from, and why he's so reserved and doesn't want to really open up in that way. And I love the way that this is where it's revealed in the series, and I'm not sure exactly if this is exactly where they reveal it in the game, but if it is, or even if it isn't, it's such a brilliant spot to put it, at least within the context of this series, because it is awesome and it's such great timing, because it's like after all the stuff they've been through and after all the connection they've made, now it's like, damn, so he didn't even tell me that. So she's like, oh shit, now I kind of get, where he's coming from psychologically, and where he's coming from, and why he's dealing with things in this certain way. So it is very interesting to see that whole dynamic. And then they end up taking Ellie to go watch the movies with the kids and everything like that. And she's like, man, this is just so weird, like chilling like this. Like, she's never really been in an environment quite like that, I don't think. And we're going to be getting into the whole flashback with her in episode 7. So that's going to be very interesting. We're going to get more into that at the tail end of the show real quick. But yeah, so you get Ellie watching the movies and everything like that. They drop her off there. And Joel has not revealed that he's planning on leaving her there yet. And that doesn't come until just a little bit after that. And once it does, there is a big confrontation, because Ellie's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're going to abandon me after everything we've been through, after how far we've come to doing this thing, after everything that we're setting out to do, that you're just going to abandon me like this? You're the only person I trust to get me there. You're the only person I trust to take care of me at this point, And then Joel's like, nah, like, I'm not going to do that. And then once Ellie starts bringing up his daughter, he gets pissed, and he's like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut up. Like, shut your mouth and know your role. But for real, though, he gets hella pissed, and she's like, nah, like, for real, like, I'm not her. I'm someone completely different. I can take care of myself. It's a different circumstance. I'm sorry for what happened. I really am, but I'm me. She's her. Move on. We can do this thing together, And I just thought that was so great, the way that Bella Ramsey played it and the way that they wrote it. It just came together so well, and you just totally get where Ellie is coming from, which you also understand Joel's perspective in the situation as well as a whole. So I just really love the way that they did that. And as the night goes on and Joel gets a chance to think about it after they get pissed and go their separate ways, he realizes that he should at least give her a choice. So when they get up the next morning, he's like, hey, look, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either go with me or stay here. And she's like, all right, cool, I'm going with you. And then he's like, oh, okay, here we go. All right, let's do it. And as they're, they pack up, they're getting ready to head on the road. They know the location of where the Fireflies are, because Tommy actually revealed it to him earlier after their confrontation started to wind down, that it was over there in Colorado the last time he checked. So they ended up heading down there, and they end up getting over there, and it's at actually this university down there. And as they start exploring around and see where the Fireflies are at, they do see some posts and things like that of where they would have been, but it just looks like a ghost town in there, Nobody's around, nothing's going on, no sounds, they don't hear nothing. And as they progress through the university, it starts to get a little more intense. So then Joel's like, all right, let's leave the horse here and get your gun out. Let's go see what the fuck's going on. They start investigating and going around, and they're like, all right, well, I don't see anything. And then they hear some people, and they end up ducking down when they're in one of the classrooms, and they're on like the second or third story or something like that. And they look down and see like what looks like some hunters or some kind of bandits or pirates or what have you, walking downstairs in a group of like 5 or 6. And he's like, all right, keep it down. And then they sneak around, run back over to the horse, and they're trying to load the guns up and load everything up and get on the horse before anyone realizes they're there. But it's too late, because Ellie's like, oh shit, Joel. And the guy's like right behind him, has a knife and everything, and attacks him. And Joel ends up kicking his ass and choking him out and seemingly maybe even killing him by breaking his neck. Who knows? But from that point, though, he didn't realize that he actually ended up getting stabbed in the stomach. And he pulls the knife out and he's like, oh, shit. And Ellie's like, oh, no. She's like, all right, come on, Joel. Just get on the horse and let's get the hell out of here. And they end up trying to run and get out of there. But they end up narrowly escaping. But by the time they do, she realizes that Joel's she's trying to say something to him. And he's already passed the F out, man. He is passed out. He's like, so she's like, oh, shit. And he falls off the horse. And then she's like, oh, no. And he starts bleeding out. And she's like, oh, shit. Puts her hand in his hand over to try to stop the bleeding and put some pressure to it. And she's like, oh, no. What am I going to do? And then that's where we cut off, dude. That's the big cliffhanger right there until we get to episode 8. Because as we see from the preview after the credits and everything, and here in episode 6, that's going to be the whole flashback episode with Ellie's backstory. In episode 7, that's going to be the whole focus. So by the time we get to episode 8, what the hell is going to go down? I don't know. I haven't played through that portion of the game. And at this point on, I don't know anything that goes down in the game necessarily. And I only know very little tidbits about part 2 as well. So I don't know exactly where things are going to go ending off season 1 here. But this episode was fucking great, man. Another awesome episode in this series. And I tell you, man, if this continues to go in this direction, this might be one of the best season 1s I have watched in a long, long time, if not ever. But I want to hear from y'all. Drop your thoughts down below in that comment section. Let me know what you thought about this latest. Is it the greatest episode? Let me know what you think about it. And we're going to be coming at y'all for the last 3 episodes. We're going to be getting into The Mandalorian right around the corner when it comes to TV and recaps and all that stuff. So don't be missing any of that goodness. And we got some other series right down the pipeline as well. Daisy Jones and the Six over there on Amazon Prime. It's a fictional story from a book about a fictionalized band in the 70s. I'm going to be covering that series as well. Maybe not week to week, but at least the whole season. One way or the other, I'm going to be covering that. We got all the big movies next month between Scream 6, Creed 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. We're going to be covering all those. And don't you forget, about the end of this month, we got Cocaine Bear and, most importantly and most recently, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We had to push back our review. Me, Skippy, Miguel, we're going to do the whole shebang. The whole spoiler-filled review is going to go down this weekend, so don't miss out on that. A little bit late, but better late than never. That's all going down this week, and we got plenty more stuff coming at you. So make sure you stay tuned, you don't sleep. Much love, and thank you for watching. Peace out.